Chapter 10. After Lily had this thought, she almost put all her attention on Serafina. Serafina just leisurely drank water naturally, not even bothering to glance at William again. Lily sneered in her heart, he was such a handsome and outstanding man, any girl couldn't help but look at him a few times, but Serafina didn't look, she must have some kind of scheming plan. Did she think that pretending to ignore him would be enough to attract him to look at her? It was truly ridiculous. Imagining this, Lily felt even more excited. Vivian liked William, now even Serafina liked him, this way, when she got him, she would feel even more accomplished. Serafina had absolutely no idea what kind of complicated thoughts the twisted-minded person sitting next to her had, she just indifferently looked into space, not thinking about anything else. It wasn't until Mr. Lancaster went on stage to give his speech that she came back to her senses. Someone sitting at the same table congratulated William first, saying that Mr. Lancaster would definitely buy the original calligraphy he donated. William raised the champagne glass in his hand, humbly and politely saying thank you. At the same time, he also gave her a profound glance, completely unable to hide his rude disdain. She wasn't weak at all, her beautiful eyes also flashed with a similar sarcastic smile, her slender fingers lifted the pale gold champagne glass, tilted it towards him, elegantly tilting the glass to the side, meaning, returning you. What you meant, return it as is. And at the moment she tilted the glass in her hand, Mr. Lancaster announced that what he wanted to buy for himself at today's party was the Princess Tears blue diamond that she donated, and that the cash would also be transferred to the Marine Environmental Protection Fund as soon as the party ended. Everyone present was surprised. Under the astonished eyes of William and everyone else, she leisurely and complacently drank all the champagne in her glass in one gulp. A few seconds later, someone reacted and started clapping, and the entire hall erupted in a round of polite applause. Vivian was very happy, congratulating her. What a surprise. I didn't expect Mr. Lancaster to buy your diamond, what a surprise. The people at the table also changed their expressions in surprise, either sincerely or flatteringly congratulating her. Only Lily's face was pale, looking very uncomfortable. William didn't show any other expression, he didn't show any joy, but he also didn't show any disappointment. After all, that calligraphy had to be donated sooner or later, it was just that the prestige wasn't that great. He really couldn't understand, although the Lancaster family had a relationship with the Beaumont family in their previous life. It wasn't to the point of spending $200 million to buy face for the Beaumont family. He originally thought that the Beaumont family had fallen, but he didn't expect that the Lancaster family could support them like this. It seemed that he had misjudged. Serafina originally planned to attend the next banquet, but Lucas called to say that Thomas had taken Theodore out to spend the night. The Thomas family was a group of sleazy merchants. He was also lustful, very playful, liked to show off, and was on the same level as her younger brother. But her younger brother at least had a few good habits that were cultivated in the family since he was young, while Thomas was 100% first-class scum. She absolutely would not allow her younger brother to be infected with bad habits, even though she knew he was bad himself. In recent years, the Hill family had become rich, had little money, and had more contact with famous people. But there was almost no big family that really interacted with them on a daily basis. Only those who were bad-tempered and unruly like her younger brother would wander around with him. To be honest, many of her younger brother's bad habits were learned from Thomas. So she told Lucas to come pick her up after confirming their whereabouts. She knew Lucas was always quick at work, so she decided to wait outside to get some fresh air, but just as she was about to leave, she heard music playing. She was curious to see who would be the opening dancer, so she stopped. Everyone in the hall's eyes were glued to the couple. In the gentle and melodious music, the two people's dance moves were elegant and graceful. They were definitely a pair of well-coordinated and well-matched dance partners. The complex dance steps changed continuously, magnificent and unrestrained, but what touched her the most was the smiles on both of their faces. They were dancing and laughing at each other, seemingly forgetting the world around them. The boy's smile was as bright as the warm sunlight. She felt that he looked familiar, but couldn't remember for a moment, until she saw the beautiful girl's face clearly. Then she remembered, oh, so this was the senior's man. She still remembered her, Senior Emma Taylor, Class 11 of the Director Department. In her previous life, she met Emma when she first started school, and their relationship was very good. Later, Emma suddenly married Andrew, the sole heir of the Astor family, and gave birth to twins. She was busy being a director, while she was busy fighting, so the two of them didn't have many opportunities to meet. Someone beside her envied and said, "Oh, Andrew is a perfect and loyal man, he pampers Emma very much. I'm so jealous. She hasn't even graduated from college yet and she's already married. Now she has a husband, a child, and a career." She smiled, turned around and left. As she walked out, she couldn't help but think, if one day she could smile confidently and brightly like that anytime, anywhere, how great would that be? She walked out just as Lucas drove up. She got in the car and asked, "Where is he?" Lucas was embarrassed for a moment before he said, "Masquerade." Her willow eyebrows raised, her eyes stern, "This rotten brat, he really wants to be beaten." Masquerade is the most famous bar in Beijing's nightlife district. If you want to say why it is the most famous, it is because the quality of the staff there is very good. The special thing about Masquerade is that it does not engage in prostitution itself, but only provides a meeting place for showbiz girls, mostly unknown actresses and models, who want to earn extra income and rich young men who want to sleep with beautiful girls. This place gathers a lot of rich people. One night just the alcohol bill alone can bring in more than $1 million. Showbiz girls are often scheming and ambitious, this is also what she worries about. In her previous life, there was an unknown model who slept with her younger brother, said she was pregnant with his child, and then forced him to marry her. He just said he would do a DNA test, and the result was that she suddenly collapsed, and he made a big fuss about it. There was no need to mention the physical and mental compensation, but at that time, he was deeply involved in the battle for company shares and had lost the trust of many veteran shareholders. When she entered the bar, her cell phone was confiscated according to the law. In Masquerade, there were no surveillance cameras or customer list, she couldn't ask for any information, she could only go through each room one by one. She rushed into a few rooms by mistake, and unexpectedly ran into a few acquaintances, including rich young masters and students from her school. Her memory was very good, seeing it once reminded her to increase her impression, remember it well. Anyway, it was still a good thing to catch a few weak points. She also happened to see Emily Martin, Vivian's cousin, who was also the daughter of the owner of the Martin Pharmaceutical Company. She finally found her brother. At that time, he was standing in a small, quiet room, with a movie actress. She was very quiet, but that actress was no different from the female lead in a porn movie. She closed the door tightly, sat on the chair and watched quietly. Strange, this actress who seemed to be named Chloe Green was also a second-rate star. She didn't have to come here to sell sex. Even stranger, it was so disgusting, how could she still continue watching? It seemed that a series of events in her previous life had raised her endurance to a level higher than the Himalayas. She looked at it with an itchy eye, and said casually, "Letting her sit on you will be more comfortable." Before she could finish speaking, the scene was as silent as a dead land. Theodore turned his head in surprise, seeing his sister calmly propping her cheek, tilting her head, and making comments. Oh my God, blind him. Although he was lustful, he was just a teenager with a normal worldview. Would he be haunted by his own sister watching him naked doing work with someone else in this life? He was not an adult film actress. He jumped up out of reflex, kicked Chloe off the sofa, and stomped his feet angrily as he hurriedly put on his clothes. Do you have any shame? You even peeked at other people. Are you a pervert?